But let's bring in Chris to the chat because I want to welcome him to the show. Chris, what up?
Chris.
Yo, what's good? Of course. Wouldn't miss it.
Yes.
In the club.
In the club, yes. We're clever over here. We have puns and all kinds of stuff, man. It's crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, dude. So you are the COO at Lost Worlds. If you wouldn't mind, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey in crypto and how you came to work with Lost Worlds?
Yeah, so specifically me, it's funny. I was doing consulting in New York City for venture-backed tech startups. And when 2020 hit, obviously, like I felt like Will Smith from I Am Legend, like New York City was absolutely just completely shut down. You'd like walk out on 3rd Ave where there'd be taxis all the time and it was just completely dead. And I ended up moving out of the city, ended up doing a bit of traveling, which was kind of weird, but interesting. I ended up traveling for almost 2 years, and about a year into traveling, I had quit my job. I was kind of just doing some freelancing, getting into product design. And one of my buddies who ended up being the CTO of Lost Worlds came and crashed on my couch in the Pacific coast of Mexico. He's like, I'm working on this platform. It's this like location-based NFT platform. At that time, I had like some small bags of crypto. Like I was kind of into like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but wasn't like super familiar with any of these like alternative L2s. And he was just giving me like the full court press on what was going on in the space. And specifically with that project, I was very interested. And that was like a moment where I was also kind of moving my career into more product design. And so, flash forward, him and I were like mocking up designs, and I was kind of just helping like very loosely. Flash forward 2 months later, like August rolls around. I'm not even with him. He reaches out and calls me. He's like, hey, we're actually looking for a product designer. Would you be interested in, potentially like interviewing for the job? I was like, yeah, that could be cool. I was like, you know what, honestly, like I kind of have some bandwidth now. Like I wouldn't even mind just like workshopping this out with the CEO, Quayson, who at the time I didn't know. And we hop on a call, sparks fly. And, next thing you know, we were like hopping right into it. And I actually think like kind of like that workshop thing really ended up being productive because I kind of came with my own ideas of designs. And by the time we knew it, like by the time anyone like popped up and realized what was going on, like we were like already just like war rooming on what needed to happen. And like we kind of realized like, hey, we're actually already working together. So it ended up being a really good fit and obviously like a great group of guys to be working with. So that's kind of like the quick spiel on how I ended up here, but
that's awesome, man. Well, that's I always like to get everybody's like story. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like I like to get the personality of the of our guests and see where they're coming from. So that's awesome, man. Thank you for giving us a little succinct version of how you got here. So we have kind of like an awesome collab going on right now.
We do.
Yeah, dude, I'm really excited about this. The Scholar guys, I think. Let me check my my notes from production here.
Should we do like a quick recap of the platform as well before we jump into the collab?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Firestorm's always catching me. I get so excited that I'm just like,
no. I mean, I suffer from this exact problem as well. Like I get carried away very, very quickly. So, Chris, do you mind just sort of talking about, what Lost Worlds is as well? Obviously, you guys launched. There was a sick drop at the Avalanche Summit. The continents happened. Do you mind just giving a very quick overview of that as well?
Yeah, for sure. So Lost Worlds at the highest level is a location-based NFT platform. We basically take geotechnology, geolocation data, and we converge that with blockchain technology. So we're really focused on merging like what I would consider like Web 2 with Web 3. And I think the way that we're able to do that is by contextualizing some of these NFTs in the real world. And with that, sure, they can be collectibles, but as we've seen with like the boat party, they can also be, access to events and, redeemable for merchandise and tokens and all other types of things. So that's the highest level kind of what Lost Worlds is focused on doing.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. Yeah, let's talk about what's next. What's coming up?
Well, I don't know if I'm ready, really. Man. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Specifically with our platform, and I guess I'll wait to dive in on some of the stuff that we're doing with you all because I do think that deserves its own space. But yeah, right now, I mean, obviously the crazy market that we're in. I was saying to Jimmy 2 times earlier, like like seeing AVAX as low as almost $14, which is like what it went live with almost a year ago, is a pretty crazy concept. So right now, we're in it for the long run. So, as most teams who I think are in that same kind of mindset, we're just building. We're working on adding more token utility. We're working on making our platform just generally stickier, adding more gamification to that. So some of the things that are just like immediately coming down the pipeline is bounties, which is one that I'm pretty bullish on. We were in Decentral Miami, and we ended up like partnering with Pangolin to drop this NFT on their booth, and the marketplace on our application had them listed at like 10, 15 AVAX, and people were reaching out to me saying, hey, it looks like, there's still some that haven't been minted. Like, would you mind like grabbing me one on the low? And like, I'll throw you 2 AVAX, but I don't want to pay like 10 AVAX for that. Like, if anything, grab me 2 and I'm gonna list one for 10 as well. Yeah. And I had like 10 or 15 people reach out to me about that. And it really kind of shed a light on an interesting concept with location-based NFTs, which is, if you go to a desktop site to mint, a Bored Ape or whatever it is, and you see that, those are still available to mint, you're not going to have this like crazy secondary marketplace, with these super high floors.
Right.
But what's weird about location is because there's that actual friction of having to be there. You can see a world where a drop isn't even fully minted, and there's still a crazy demand on the secondary marketplace. And so almost like out of necessity, we started to work towards building this bounty system, which is almost like this gig economy system where people can place bounties using the lost token, and then someone else can go mint that on their behalf. So you can almost imagine like I think of like Uber, right? You have like me who's going on Uber thinking, what do I want to eat tonight? Am I getting, Thai? Am I getting Mexican? Am I getting Italian? And then on the other side of the application, you have drivers who don't give a shit what they're picking up, right?
Right.
They don't care what food, they're going for. They're just going for food because they know that's going to grab them and money. So we're kind of building out that like second side of our platform, and excited to load that up with a bunch of like, game dynamics as well. That should make it really fun. So that's kind of in the immediate future. Some of the longer tail things that, we're talking about is, at least for me, like I've been very bullish on events, and we saw that work with Avalanche Summit. We had over 1,000 NFTs minted out. And I think that was just a really fun experience and an opportunity for us to bring a lot of the vendors who are all these, protocols and NFT projects kind of into this collaboration together. And while that worked in a microcosm at Avalanche Summit, I mean, the reason that worked is because, everyone had MetaMask, everyone had AVAX in their wallet. It was sort of like the dream scenario of kind of adding these location-based NFTs on top of an existing experience. But, even just last week, it's like, Governor's Ball here in New York City, like had we had a massive, QR code on the stage for one of the main acts, I would argue that probably 1 to maybe 3% of the people there would even have a chance of minting that NFT. And so there is something to be said about building on the Avalanche ecosystem. It's still small. I think there's only like 1.5 million wallets or something to that effect. And for us, as kind of this bridge from Web 2 to Web 3, I think there is some tooling that can be built on our side that really can help support that. So you can imagine even something as simple as like a fiat to crypto on-ramp, and some custodial wallets for folks who've never owned an NFT before and wouldn't even know where the first place to start. I think it's a really cool opportunity for us to potentially go where we can be somebody's first NFT. Somebody's at a concert, their favorite artist is on, and instead of buying, the $20 poster from the merch tent, they're buying the $20 NFT, or, maybe the event's giving it out for free. And so I think that's another kind of route that we're looking in. We also have some other cool stuff. This will be the last thing I say. We also have some cool things coming down the pipeline with like what we're calling location generative, and that's almost like Pokemon Go style projects. So rather than pinning NFTs to specific locations on the map where they sit forever, we can kind of say, hey, you tell us where you're located, and we can create these location-based experiences around you. And you can almost see that akin to like a step-in style app, where you can imagine there's all these different token utilities and scavenger hunts and things like that. And so, a lot of cool stuff to be building. I think there's no shortage of imagination or ideas on our end. And I think right now we're kind of just in execution mode, seeing which ones hit.
That's what's up, man. I mean, we've always been really stoked on what you guys are doing. So I remember when Quazen was on, he was talking about at the Avalanche Summit in Barcelona. It's funny that you say Pokemon Go, because he was talking about Pokemon Go, like how it seemed like people were playing Pokemon Go.
It really did.
You know what I mean? So
fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
Good times.
Yeah. So it looks like I'm getting the signal from production that we have another guest. We have a surprise guest from the Scholar team. It looks like we
Hells yeah.
got Theodore over here. Production, can we bring him in? Is he in the place? There he is. Wow, look at this.
There
This
he
is guys. Hold the phone. This is the first time we've had the 4 tiles on this show. So big things are happening today, gentlemen. I'm with you.
Graphic updated in real time
We
too. I
are
love
growing.
that.
Yes, dude, this is amazing. Theodore, welcome, man. Thank you for being here. You're from the Scholar team. We are working with you guys. We're working with Lost Worlds. We got something really special to show. Theodore, can you talk a little bit about your project Scholar, yourself, how you got here, and just kind of give us the lowdown, man?
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me. A little bit of background about me. Been in the Web3 space for quite a while. Kind of the fun origin story for me is started playing around with Bitcoin in around 2012, 2013 when I was in 8th grade. And I just talked to my friend that we used to, mess around back in the day with what was the Silk Road at the time, and, kicked ourselves a little bit because when that went up, we also kind of backed away just out of fear. But I got back in from an investment standpoint in probably 2018, 2019, and have been building in the space for, basically a year and a half from a BD side. So prior to making the jump over to Scholar, I was at a large medical device manufacturer called Boston Scientific. I started and led our internal innovation accelerator and incubator, basically taking projects that needed resources, funding, networking, and spun them out to be their own businesses, or some became internal products. Made the jump over to Scholar about 8 months ago. It's been a really exciting time, and I'll kind of give the quick 30-second overview of what we're building. Thankfully, I think some folks on this chat are U.S. centric, and we all understand the impact that student debt has to recent graduates and even people further down that road.
Yes.
That growing problem is something that inspired us and something that we wanted to take action with. So the origin of our platform actually starts in Web 2. We have a Web 2 platform called scholarful.com. Best way I like to describe that to people is a dating app for scholarships. Instead of finding them all individually from different, private offerings from different universities, spending 45 minutes applying to them, on our platform, you fill out your profile once, and your recommended scholarships to you based upon your cultural background, financial needs, and academic goals. All right. So as we built that platform, we gained a pretty solid traction. We have around 30,000 users on it, have done a little over $2.5 million in scholarship volume running through that. But as we built it, we actually realized there's a bigger opportunity to connect the dots on the donor side. So where do these scholarships actually come from? As you double click on that, like I'd mentioned before, there's 2 main sources. One, private money. That would be, individuals like us on the call wanted to sponsor a particular student. And the other side is from what we call academic endowments. The best way to think about endowments are basically the financial arm of a university responsible for all things finances, including, salaries, overhead, operations, and specifically student financial aid and scholarships. The issue with them, though, is that, one, they're really underperforming. The average return in the past 5 years is around 5%, and they have very high overhead fees, on average a little over 4%. So what does that mean in practicality? When you donate to a university and want to sponsor a student, in reality, your money is growing at about a 1% delta. The second part is that the donors that we engaged with felt very disconnected. When you donate to a university today, they kind of shake your hand, give you your tax document, and say, we'll see you next year. You don't really actually get to see the impact that your money is making. You feel very disconnected from it. So what we've built is, in a simple term, what we like to say is a decentralized platform for endowments, where you as a donor, say you have a particular passion for initiative students, whether that be women in STEM or Black engineers, something like that, you can actually set up a scholarship, set up a fund that is specifically curated for them, and then you're directly matched to them using our platform. So there's that real peer-to-peer connection that confirms, basically your money is going where you actually want it to go instead of to bonuses or an athletic facility. And the other part is that we use, obviously the power of DeFi and blockchain to provide transparency, but most importantly, performance. A lot lower fees on our protocol. And the second part is that, a lot higher performing assets in the DeFi space. There's obviously lots of, volatility right now in the space, but, a lot of our strategies revolve around some of those safer plays like stable coins, obviously even that has a broader conversation to have. But our goal is also to educate people about Web3, and that's really the unique part. And something I'll close on here is that majority of our users are actually not Web3. I know I kind of heard before I hopped on the call, we talked reflecting on how small the Avalanche community is in comparison to other industries. And that's something that we're really proud of, is that the majority of our users are not Web3 native right now. So it's an opportunity to onboard more and more students, donors, and other partners that might not have engaged in Web3, but also give them a really easy UI and UX so that it doesn't feel, the first time I ever got into DeFi, trying to navigate MetaMask, go on Snowtrace or, basically Etherscan and understand what's truly happening is hard. And
Sure.
so how do you mask that and make it really simple for people to understand? And it's what we call kind of Web 2.5 is where we're targeting.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So very exciting project, man. And so to bring all this kind of together, we've created a little monster together, haven't we? And Firestorm, you're outnumbered right now, man. You're the only cartoon axolotl made of fire on the screen right now, man. This is crazy.
Yes, sir.
We have something that's very exciting, and we want to talk about it. We want to go into full detail, but we got to show everybody first. Okay, so you guys want to see this? We've prepared something special for stream. Chat, are you guys ready for this? Zerky, what up? I see you, Zerky. Chat, if you guys are ready for this, we want to introduce you to somebody very special, someone near and dear to our hearts. Please meet Dexter, the Subnet Speedster. That's hot business. All right. So let's get into this. That is Dexter, the Subnet Speedster, as well as the Golden Subnet Speedster, as well as the exclusive Dexalot Lost World Scholar t-shirt to celebrate the Red Bull Soapbox race coming up in Des Moines, Iowa this Saturday. Okay. Exclusive NFTs, collab between the team. The three teams here that we've got on your screen. And we are extremely excited. Chris, can you talk about some of the details of these exclusive joints? I believe they're going up on the marketplace Friday. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, where to even begin? I think this is why I love working with the Dexalot team. This is just fun. I think
we're out of our minds.
This is just what it'd be like sometimes. And obviously getting to spend time with you all at the boat party in Barcelona, like Jonathan, I remember came up to me and was like, hey, we're making a soapbox race car and we're going to race it in Des Moines, Iowa. And we want to work with Lost Worlds. And how can you say no to that? So obviously there's a lot to be told on that side in terms of the Formula E race car that you all have made and what's coming up as soon as Friday. But, it was fun to kind of freestyle with Jonathan a little bit and talk about ways that we could kind of incorporate the Lost Worlds platform into the mix. Originally, we were talking about something as simple as just doing some location-based NFTs in Iowa, specifically at the venue. And then, Jonathan had mentioned something in passing about Scholar. And at that point, I hadn't really heard about the company. It's like, wow, this is awesome. We're like, hey, well, what if there's a world where we can kind of mix and match and combine to bring all these kind of bespoke companies together. And, one thing led to another. And I think where we netted out was, what if we did a global NFT that anybody could mint? It's uncapped. And we take all of that money and use it towards one of scholarships. And, just to add that extra blockchain spin onto it, making it a scholarship specifically focused on Solidity Bootcamp. So even bringing just more and more exposure to the space. So that's kind of where we netted out. And, fast forward, here we are.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that I know when Red Bull first kind of approached us with this, it was kind of like a joke, you know what I mean? Like, hey, do you guys want to race in the soapbox? And we were like, yeah, of course we do, you know. So that started the whole process. And to add to the excitement, we've also partnered with Encode Club out of the UK. So what'll be happening is we'll be you'll get sent to a Solidity boot camp, and because their Solidity boot camps are actually free, so the money that we're raising is to send the winner to a hackathon, whether that be in Brooklyn or wherever else. So that's where everything's going to go at the end of the day. And so shout out to Encode Club. We'll have more information coming from them soon. But yeah, this is like, we've been so excited about this over on the Dexalot side, and to finally release it to the public has been very cathartic. You know what I mean? Because our designer, John Toiger, is also our producer for this stream. Incredibly talented cat, and just got to say, gigantic shout out to him because he created the Subnet Speedster. All those
Huge
little
shout out.
Dude, huge, just gigantic.
Huge shout out to that.
All those little details that you see, that's all him, man. He's the 3D model master. So we couldn't do any of this without his amazing work, man. So shout out to John. Yeah, this is going to be really exciting. So to backtrack just a little bit, I know I'm a little all over the place. I drink a ton of coffee. You guys know this by now. We're racing with our own soapbox racer. We hired a team to build a soapbox racer. And we are racing in the Red Bull Soapbox Derby race this Saturday, June 18th. It's in Des Moines. Production, if we can get the link for that on screen at some point, that'd be really great. But Dexter is going to be in a soapbox car. Our little axolotl, he's all grossed up. And did we lose Chris? Chris, come back. Come back, Chris. Theodore, you're still riding with us though. All right, there he is. There's Chris. There, we got you. Now you're on.
Don't know what happened there.
No, that's all right.
We back.
It's a live stream. Anything can happen. So yeah, man, we're all just extremely excited. I know that Firestorm. Oh, there we go. There's the Red Bull soapbox race link. You can see Team Dexalot up in there. And yeah, it's very exciting, man. I'm going to head down there. Since I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's only about a 3-hour drive to Des Moines. So I'm going to head down there on Friday, meet up with our CMO, Jonathan. And we're just going to be running through the cornfields, man, with our buddy Dexter, and then riding out in the capital. Hopefully the heat index doesn't hit over 120 degrees, but we'll do our best out there. Firestorm, are you joining us for that?
For the race, you mean?
Yeah. Are you coming down from Jupiter for that?
I probably will miss it. It's very difficult to keep up with how Dexter appears at different locations at different times, but I will definitely be tracking it with my high-powered telescope.
Good. Good. That's what's up. Well, just to recap, guys, we have exclusive NFTs. Dexter, the Subnet Speedster, is coming this Friday, uncapped, globally available. And all the sales are going to go to sending Encode Club Solidity boot camp. Our winner is going to go to a Solidity boot camp and then be sent to a hackathon, courtesy of Encode Club and Scholar. So, dude, we're so stoked. This is like, I kind of wish that I could drive the car. Can I be honest? I wish that I could drive the soapbox car. I don't think they're going to let me, but I really would like to. You know what I mean? Chat, would you guys like to see pictures of me in the soapbox car? Should we do that? I think we should do that when we're down there. Yeah, Theodore.
Before the chat, I would like to see that.
Yeah, Firestorm wants to see it. Yeah, I know you want to see it, Firestorm. Well, this has been awesome, dude. I'm so stoked. Before we do anything again, can we see Dexter the Subnet Speedster? Are you guys down for that? Let's see it again.
I don't think there's any objections.
That's what I'm saying, man. He's so dope. We love Dexter. Can we cue up the Subnet Speedster video once again? The song makes me feel like I'm about to watch Sons of Anarchy or something. That's just so fire.
That's
Okay,
just
so
way too real.
we need to recap a couple things that I might not have even mentioned yet.
Well,
so there might not even be recaps. They'll be like new stuff.
I think
When you mint Dexter the Subnet Speedster, you get put in the running to win that golden Speedster. Okay, so that's like a one of a kind. The golden Speedster is one of a kind. Only one person is going to get that. And then the T-shirt, that's only going to be mintable within 2 miles of the Iowa State Capitol this Saturday. Okay. And, we tried to make the NASCAR guy look like Dr. Sir going, I don't know if we pulled it off, but we wanted to make it like the NASCAR AVAX crossover that it deserved to be. You know what I mean? Because we're just like, Dexter's like little AVAX over here. They had their actual NASCAR. We have our soapbox car. You know what I mean? So anyway, Theodore, Chris, this was awesome. Would you guys ever consider coming back to the club with us? Would you guys consider, coming back and talking more about NFTs and scholarships with your boys?
I don't know how we could possibly say no.
Well, we're pretty
in
goofy,
the club,
man.
in the VIP. Yeah, exactly. If we're talking
like
about soapbox race cars, yeah, really.
It's like surrounded by you got a grown man surrounded by action figures. You got a cartoon axolotl who's on fire. I mean,
it's a good time.
Yeah, it's like how can you
that
say,
is
Chat,
a team,
wrong?
That is a team.
Chris, Theodore, man, thank you guys so much for coming on the stream. Just to let everybody know, we are going to have an AMA coming up this Thursday. Okay, we haven't done the official announce yet, but you're getting we're dropping some alpha on you right now. AMA Thursday. We're going to have more details coming. And Chris and Theodore, I will talk to you guys about that for sure. Because I want to iron out a couple more details. And because it sounds like Firestorm might be able to beam a signal from Jupiter for that one. So we wanted to get him in on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So one more thing I want to add, by the way, before we sort of switch to the club version of our show.
Yes.
There is other people who sort of joined in on us. Basically, the car that actually will be revealed will look slightly different than the NFTs. I want to mention that as well. Shout out to everybody who said yes to doing this with us. And, I just want to tease everybody that the actual car is going to be pretty cool.
The actual car is sick, and you can actually see it on our Twitter account. We have a small picture. It's not the full view of the car, but you can get an idea. So at Dexalot COM. And before we go, of course, we'll run everybody's web info across the screen. Lost Worlds, Chris. We've got Theodore from Scholar. So look at that. We've got this cool. Look at that. We got a ticker. You know what I mean? We're real pros over here. We're real Twitch pros. You guys, thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. We're super excited to partner with you on these NFTs. And this Saturday is going to be a movie, to say the least.
Thanks for coming, guys. And thanks
thank you guys so much for coming
with us. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Peace.
Great talking to y'all.
Peace.
Take it easy.
Thanks for being in the club with us.